Bless up, Marla Berries. Blessings, blessings, blessings. Yeah, man. So just wanted to share some of the events that we have coming up. A lot of the free events that we have to give some more immigration advice and best practices that we have. So I'll be taking some of your questions. K1 visas, absolutely. K1 fiance visa, we definitely do those. So somebody said, why people still getting detained while being with attorneys? So the first thing is, just because ICE detain somebody, it doesn't mean that they're going to get deported, right? But also, the attorney can only work with what they have. So if you are undocumented and if you are out of status and you do not have a relief from deportation, meaning you don't have an asylum file, you don't have a marriage-based petition, you don't have anything at all, it is going to be extremely challenging for that attorney to be able to get you out of ICE custody. But if you have an attorney that you retained before to work on a pending process, and then you do get detained by ICE, right? I mean, nobody likes that, but that attorney should be able to get you out if you do have a relief from deportation, and if you have proof that you are not a risk based on criminal history, that you are not a risk or pose a danger to society. So an attorney is 100% beneficial, because the chances of you getting detained and removed, even if you have the right relief, if you're trying to do it pro se, like do it by yourself without an attorney, the numbers show that it will not be favorable. It's not impossible, but I would not recommend it. All right, it's just like trying to, you get a cut on your back and you're trying to stitch it up yourself. Would you do that, or you prefer to get a doctor to do it for you? All right, so again, we're here answering some questions. You want some updates on upgrading from J1 to the H1B. So if you're upgrading from a J1 to H1B visa, one, you definitely need to get the waiver first, as you know, if the waiver applies to you, and two, you have to have an employer that is petitioning for the H1B for you. And those are the major changes. I mean, those aren't changes, but that's the usual process. No real major changes right now. The only change that I've seen with J1 lately is that they fall into the same group as the student visas, that at the consulate they're not doing interviews as much. There has been a pause so that the government can do more vetting of social media and background checks of these people. All right. Should you inbox me? No, I don't give legal advice in the DMs at all. There's a link in the bio that you can schedule a consultation. That is the most organized way to talk to you. We have a huge team here of 15 or 20 people that we are working diligently to help all our clients. So definitely not the DMs is the way to reach. Like, just click the link in the bio. The bio is where you see the picture. There's a link. You click on it, and it will take you to a form for you to fill out, so that we can schedule you, so that you can speak with us. All right. Appreciate your ball of bears. Appreciate you, man. So this person said, I seeked out asylum. I got an I-94 on entry, which is good. I have a child with a U.S. citizen spouse, so that means you want to marry her. Is there a relief for me? So you came in with a parole. So this person entered through a border. They came in on a parole, which is different, right? So if you came in on a parole through the border, that means you can actually adjust your status without leaving the country. So that's one good thing. You have a child with your U.S. citizen spouse, and you want to marry that person. So you need to do that ASAP. Yeah, so there is a relief for you. your relief from deportation would be adjustment of status. So if you are in removal proceedings right now, what I would do with your case is I would get the adjustment filed, get that over to the court, and I would try to do, and I would plead to the court through a motion to terminate the removal proceedings so that they can close the deportation case so that you can file the adjustment of status with USCIS. And that's what some people don't understand is that if you are in removal proceedings and you're trying to do something with USCIS, like file an adjustment of status, you cannot just file to USCIS on its own. You have to terminate the removal proceedings with the court because they're the last people that had your case. You have to get that terminated before you can continue with your adjustment of status. So someone asked, how long does it take for the filing at the embassy? Once USCIS has responded, it really varies of the type of petition, if it's from a spouse, if it's from a parent. It really depends on the timeline and the type of relative it is. So if it's a marriage base, it can be up to 18 months now. If it's a parent to a child that's over 21, it can be 5 years. If they're over 21 and married, it can be up to 14 years. If it's a sibling, it can be up to 14 years as well. All right, what do we have on TikTok?
Yes, so we have, as an asylum seeker pending, I came in August 2023. Should I be worried about deportation and ICE?
Yeah, so if you came in August 2023, that means you came in right under the Biden parole program. So when you entered under the Biden parole program, that means you entered differently from most people that entered through the border. That means you're still under ICE jurisdiction. ICE jurisdiction means that you can get deported. You can be subject to expedited removal. So you can be deported without a hearing. However, if you file an asylum and it is a very strong asylum, that should be your relief from deportation. So you definitely want to have, if you did not have an attorney file your asylum, you definitely want to have that reviewed and amended by an attorney, because what the court can do, which is what they've been doing in a lot of states right now, is if you entered through the border on the Biden parole program, you're subject to expedited removal. So even if you have an asylum, some of the judges are instructed to dismiss the asylum case right there and then get you deported. All right, so you definitely want to look into that.
Under what circumstances can you file for a visa extension?
You can file for a visa extension under many circumstances. If you have a health issue, humanitarian issue, or you just need more time for a tourist reason. But if you're doing it just for a non-medical reason or emergency reason, you have to show that you have the financial resources to support that.
If you overstay 10 years, don't marry, what can be done if you want to come on a visitor's visa?
So that means they got deported. So if they overstayed for 10 years,
they don't marry, what can become to come on a visitor's visa?
Yeah, I don't understand the question, because if you're overstayed for 10 years and you want to come on a visiting visa, that means you're no longer in the country. So if you had overstayed for 10 years and left the country, you definitely will have a bar against you.
As a green card holder, do you need to file out a re-entry form if you travel internationally?
No, so the only time green card holders have to fill out a re-entry form is if you're staying outside of the country for more than 1 year. So hold on. What I want to introduce everybody is that we have a webinar. It's a free webinar, and it will be this Saturday from 1 to 2 p.m. Right? If you click the link in the bio, you will be able to click on the webinar that is on June 14th, or you can go to clarkcode.com, and what we will be releasing is an immigration guide. I created an immigration guide for a lot of people who they want to know what has been the most recent changes. They want to know how to navigate immigration. They want to know how to handle deportation proceedings. They want to know how to file for a parent, file for a spouse, or do business and sports visas. Well, this Saturday, this webinar is for you. There are limited spaces, and you will get a free copy of the Clarke Code. It is the immigration starter pack that I am releasing. There's nothing out there like it, and I'm super excited to share it with you. And it will be released this Saturday, July 14th. June 14th from 1 to 2 p.m. Right? Click the link in the bio. Whether you're on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube, you can click the link in the bio and you will see register for the free immigration webinar that we will have this Saturday. 2 days to go. It's going to be a good one. All right, back to the questions.
What is the position or current status of affirmative asylum in the U.S.? Is it canceled or modified?
Affirmative asylum, it is not canceled. They're still accepting. So you can still go ahead and file an asylum. There isn't an issue with that. But it's just scrutinized significantly more. And they are not letting in people at the border to file affirmative asylums. So if you're in the country already, like you entered on a regular visa and you're within that 1 year mark, you can definitely file an affirmative asylum.
What if your partner has a criminal background? Will that affect my paperwork?
So if you have a U.S. citizen spouse, the only crime that can prevent them from petitioning for you is a crime that involves harming a minor, right? And that is under the Adam Walsh Act. So if it's any other crime other than a crime against a minor, whether it's trafficking or assault, battery, theft, your U.S. citizen spouse who has those charges can still file for you. But as long as it involves like harm to a child, no, they cannot petition for you.
Can a green card stand as an affidavit or support for someone?
Yes, so in terms of an affidavit of support, which means that if you're the beneficiary of an immigration filing or application and you need a sponsor like an affidavit of support or joint, it can be from any U.S. citizen or green card holder.
Is it safe now to travel if I have a 2-year green card?
No. If you have a 2-year green card, it is very, very shaky to travel, right? It's so case specific with the 2-year green card. So some people can travel no problem. It just really depends on where your case is and how strong of a case it is. Especially for people that are under the countries from the travel ban, you cannot travel on a temporary green card right now safely if your country is on that travel ban.
Can I change my status if I got a canceled visa but got a waiver at the airport with an I-94?
So the person is asking if they can adjust their status even though they got a waiver at the airport?
Yes.
Yeah, yes. As long as you enter the country legally, right, you can adjust your status.
Is it safe for J1 visa holders to exit the U.S. to renew their visas?
Right now, I do not think it is safe for J1 visa holders to exit the country and try to renew their visas because of the pause that the Trump administration placed on J1 visa holders and student visas. So there hasn't been any official lift of that yet. So that's something that I would definitely be extremely hesitant to do.
How do we protect ourselves at immigration court with all of the recent ICE arrests at the courts?
So it's very case specific, right? Person is asking, how do you protect yourself if you are in immigration court and ICE is there? How do you protect yourself? So ICE cannot deport everybody that they detain, right? And the people who are most sensitive right now to being deported if they are detained at the courthouse are the people who entered on the Biden parole program within the last 2 years. Those are the two people that's the biggest, most vulnerable group, or the ones who already have a removal order against them.
Should permanent residents be afraid to drive around?
No, green card holders should not be afraid to drive around. The only way you as a green card holder should be afraid to drive around is if your green card is expired and you have not renewed it because you have some type of criminal history that you are concerned about, or you have a removal order. So again, people, I want to tell you about our event on June 14th. It's a webinar. You just have to register. We'll be answering questions and you'll be getting the Clarke code, which is our free immigration guide for you to download. All right. You can click the link in the bio and register for the event, or you can go to clarkecode.com and you'll be able to register there as well. One second, let me switch here. I want to file a VAWA, but I don't have evidence on the partner. So the evidence is definitely crucial. I mean, we want to evaluate what type of evidence you have, because you have to have something, right? You don't have to have a whole lot of evidence, but you have to have the crucial type of evidence. So that is something that we would definitely want to evaluate. Yeah, so to schedule a consultation, just click the link in the bio and you'll be able to get there. Much respect, Bala Bears. How long after a minor lands in the USA on the IR2 visa will they obtain their green card and social security? It can be anywhere from 2 weeks to 3 months, I've seen. How does forgetting to file an AR11 after moving, remain in the same city and state, affect my application? I mean, it will affect your application in the sense that you might get notifications that is necessary to either send in more evidence or to show up for appointments, and if you miss it, then there will be a problem. So you definitely need to update that ASAP. Yes.
Okay.
More questions from TikTok.
Yes. How long should you wait to put in your papers after you get married?
So the question is, how long should you wait to put in your papers after you get married? And I would say in 2025, I mean, the next day, as soon as you get your marriage certificate, you want to do that. I mean, it's a case by case, but definitely you can do it the next day. It's going to take longer to put the case together, but you can do it on the next day.
I'm married but have not filed yet. Can I travel around the US?
So you're married and you haven't filed as yet, and if you have concerns about traveling, that means you are probably out of status. I'm just assuming that, or you have overstayed. Everything is traveling at your own risk right now, because that would mean that you're undocumented, and with ICE presence in a lot of places, it just takes to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. And then if you go in ICE custody, you would have a good chance of being able to make bond, because you are married to a U.S. citizen. So we would be able to get the paperwork filed even if you're in custody. But why even go there? Just file it right now.
What is the processing time that you have been seeing for work permits after an asylum case has been closed?
So if your asylum case has been closed, you're no longer eligible for a work permit.
I am a citizen and want to travel to Jamaica. Will I have a problem at the airport coming back?
I don't know. if you're a citizen, you shouldn't be concerned about traveling unless you have warrants.
Is it possible to reopen cases now?
Yes, it is still possible for you to reopen cases that are in removal proceedings or cases before USCIS.
I have been here for 2 years and I have a case with immigration court. What do I do if I encounter ICE?
If you have a case with immigration court and you've been here for 2 years, it just really depends. If you are under the Biden parole program, you will experience some challenges. If you have a pending case, you should be fine. If you have a pending file or pending case, which would be your relief from deportation, you will be fine.
My son's father is a US citizen and he canceled the filing process. Can this affect his getting his visa?
Hold on, say that over again. Sorry.
My son's father is a US citizen and he canceled the filing process. Can this affect my son getting his visa?
Yes. Yeah, so your son filed your son was on his dad's filing and it was canceled. There is a possibility that it may affect him getting a visa because they're going to look at it and say, well, he had a previous filing, he has his father there, so that means there's some intention to go and live there. So giving him a visa would be a risk. So it's not impossible, but that's how they may look at it. So I would say 50-50. Hold on, let me get this question here. Can I travel out the country on my extension letter with my US citizen spouse? Yes, I would definitely say that you can travel. You can definitely travel on your extension. That means you're on a conditional green card. If you're with your US citizen spouse, I mean, that would be the safest way because that means there isn't really a threat to the underlying petition. What's up, Hannah? All right.
Okay. Can I travel with advanced parole in 2025?
Yes, you can travel with advanced parole in 2025, but it depends on what case that advanced parole is from, but it would be very risky. I would be cautious about that.
Why does marriage-based green cards process faster than asylum or category-based green cards?
So the reason why marriage-based petitions process faster is because when basically immigration was created, right, with USCIS, they determined that families need to be together first, so they align your spouse being as the priority family that should be with you, your spouse and your minor children, and if you want to petition for a parent. So those three categories out of any categories are the fastest, no matter what. Asylum, it's a humanitarian base. There's way more to evaluate. There's way more things to take into consideration. So that is why it takes longer.
I am a green card holder. I don't have any criminal records. Is it okay if I travel?
Yes, if you're a green card holder and you don't have a criminal record, you shouldn't have any problem with traveling.
Is it true that steps are being taken to bar residents from returning?
It just really, I mean, there's a lot of stuff on the media right now. They're not going to bar green card holders from coming in or asking you to give up your green card unless you have a criminal history. And then even if you do have a criminal history, they would just detain you, but they wouldn't prevent you from coming into the country.
We have a lot of questions about traveling. A lot of people are concerned about traveling.
Okay.
I guess what's the best that you can say to them?
Yeah, so I mean, in terms of traveling right now in 2025, I know it's the summer. People want to go on a vacation. People want to go and see their families. In terms of travel advice, one, if you are a U.S. citizen, you should not worry about traveling. Two, if you are a conditional green card holder, you definitely should have some concerns about traveling, right? But if you're traveling with your spouse, that would be fine. If you are a conditional green card holder and you are not traveling with your spouse, then you should worry. It's not impossible. Just make sure you have documentation, paperwork. Also make sure that the underlying petition for that green card, everything is good. Make sure everything is good with you and your spouse and that case isn't denied. If you're on a regular visa, just always make sure that you're compliant with the requirements of your visa, whether it's a student visa, H-1B, J-1, just make sure you're compliant with that visa and you can travel. And just make sure you have all the documentation ready, organized, file. But most importantly, just be friendly when you're trying to come back into the country. That would be my advice.
We have a bunch of questions here. We have 300 people. What is happening this Saturday, Attorney Sekou?
So this Saturday we'll be having a huge immigration webinar where we will be going through all of the changes. June 14th, Saturday from 1 to 2 p.m. Join us in an immigration webinar where you'll be getting a lot of these burning questions answered, but most importantly, you will be able to access the Clarke Code. It is free. It's free, people. You'll be able to download this immigration guide. It's everything that I have learned all over the years. It's based on the success from the cases that we have handled. All right. So, again, people, thank you so much for joining. Tune in June 14th, this Saturday, from 1 to 2 p.m. for the webinar. You can click the link in the bio. Click the link in the bio, and you will see where you can register for the webinar. Or you can just go to the website and say you want to RSVP for the webinar, or you can go to clarkecode.com. But the easiest way is to click the link in the bio. People, Instagram, TikTok, there's a link in the bio right under my picture that you can click it and it will take you to register for the webinar. All right, super easy. Will I save this live? It's better you come to the webinar on Saturday for us to discuss all these things. All right, people, we're going to do more of these webinars throughout the summer. Big up on yourself. Appreciate the love as always. See you on TikTok, Instagram for more information. I have breaking news coming tonight. I'm going to drop another breaking news. Some finally some positive possible stuff with immigration. Breaking news coming tonight, and also the webinar, Clarke Code, June 14th, this Saturday, 1 to 2 p.m. Click the link in the bio to register and RSVP. All right.